ended because I had
Now
to
we're
go.
live.
Wait, boom, boom, boom.
I'm so sorry for the people that tuned in just moments ago to watch the beginning of the Mikey and Vinnie show because the best show that we ever put on the air is not on the air. It's the 5 minutes before we go on the air. And you missed it. And I'm so sorry
Well, we
because
can,
it was.
but we always seem to recreate it, Michael. I think we always do a good job of recreating what we've done,
Well,
and
let's
so the
try.
people.
What does FCC stand for?
You're screwed.
Well, more than you might know.
Yeah,
FCC
yeah. The
used to
FCC is the
be.
Federal Communications Commission,
They used
located.
to
Is it
monitor broadcasting.
1600 D Street or something like that?
Everything's on D Street in Washington.
Yeah, it's like Peachtree Street in Georgia.
Yeah, if you can't find a Peachtree Street hanging
Every
around,
town in Georgia has two or three Peachtree Streets.
they cross each other. There's northwest, southeast, west. There's just too many Peachtree Streets, and it's not. It doesn't mean anything in Georgia. Peaches are a fact in Georgia, but the idea is to name your streets different one from the other, so you can tell which one you're on. If you're on
That's the
Peachtree Street,
general idea.
in Peachtree Street in Georgia, you don't know where the hell you are, and you may never find out. And there's no real authority you can appeal to because the authority is responsible for calling everything Peachtree Street. Which brings me back to FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, which used to be around to ensure the orderly broadcast of radio, television, and they used to pull up outside your station with a truck and monitor your
Right. That
transmitter
the
readings.
airwaves,
And,
that
and
the modulations, the frequency modulations, and the amplitude modulations that
and the
were
power. If you had 5,000 watts, you couldn't turn it up to 50,000 watts on a whim. You couldn't do that.
right, right. Although I did see an Outer Limits episode once of a guy that did have a radio station that used to turn it up, but it would bring aliens in.
Well, they needed a beacon to follow.
They needed an audience. They found out the aliens had diaries.
Don't we all need an audience? Of course we do. By the way, radio is the idea of radio as a competitive entity is got to come to an end here within the next week. Nobody even hires radio personalities to attract an audience anymore. What they do is they fire radio personalities to create a profit.
Yeah,
Look at the money we made. We got rid of our air staff. Whoa! Why didn't we think of that earlier?
it's been that way since Marconi stepped up to a microphone somewhere in Italy that he actually invented himself and said, "Hey, cosa fai? Che si dice?"
And you know, he had a beautiful voice. He was a communicator, that Marconi.
Yeah, Marconi had a thing. He knew he said, "Che si dice? Guaglione, come sarà?" And then while he was doing that, some guy who had a little newspaper outside of Rome named Benito said, "Hey, I can take a dat and I can make a dat something."
And so he did. And he said, I know it's not good for the climate, but I think black shirts look better than the white ones that we've been wearing.
Certainly looking better than the blue shirts or the brown shirts.
Plus, they say Italians are nothing to be trifled with. We wear black shirts in the summertime. We're tough guys. We are elements of society to be respected and feared.
It because you could take any six of us with clubs and we can beat anybody up,
Providing they're Ethiopians.
whoever they are. We'll beat them up. You just give us a bat and a brown and a black shirt and a little sash. I never got the sash thing, to be honest with you.
It was
And
an
we'll go beat them
award.
up for you. And guess what? We're going to have that in America soon.
First thing you need to know about guys who love uniforms is that they have to have additions in falderall and shoulder patches and special boots to to show that they're different from the other guys in uniforms. Yes, we're all wearing uniforms, but some of our uniforms are more special than others.
That's the way it works in the U.S. Army, isn't it? The generals get to wear, uh, you know, the
Stars.
the working men the soldiers have to wear tight, pants and with puffs in them so they can move. The generals are all going with Sansa.
And they get nicer coats too, and they get stuff to sew on them.
Yeah, they get all these things that their wives can stay home and sew. I mean, it's not hard to see that we've modeled ourselves after that kind of thing.
Well, the thing is, we're all in the army, so we're all together, right?
Well,
No,
we're all going to be in the army of some sort of some kind of
we're
some
I'm in
making.
the I'm in a bit different army from you because look at I have stars and you just have bars, and that's not going to make it. Guys
Well,
with
no, we're
stripes
going to
in the
combine the
service.
stars and bars, and that'll be one army, and then we're going to have the ships and the flips, and that'll be another army. Except it'll be a navy.
The guys from North Korea always say we knew this was going to happen. We knew we were going to get chopped up somehow. We just didn't think it was going to be on the Russian front.
Well, that's why we decided to go with Russia because they were doing so good. They were beating the Ukraine so bad. 2 years to take. 2 years they've been there, and they haven't taken 1,100 miles worth of land.
That's why Trump is so enamored with them. They're his kind of army. They're completely useless as shit, shit on the stick, and shit out of luck.
Yeah, it's amazing what they're what they've been able to accomplish. The Russian soldiers.
One general today on some channel that I was watching said the Russian army hasn't evolved past World War One, where it's called the meat grinder. You keep putting guys in to die at the front until things change, and if they don't change, you'll run out of guys. So it's all going to work out.
Well, it's interesting because the Russians have, I don't know, what do they have? I mean, they have less than 500. I mean, they have less of a population than us. I think they have 200 million people, something like that. The Chinese have 1 billion people, and I mean, the Chinese troops dress up nice and they march nice, but you never really see them at war.
They don't go
You never
anywhere.
see them saying we're going to go off to war. They got buttons to push to take care of all of that stuff.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going to. They're just going to sit in an office downtown and push a button, and there goes whatever city they want to go. Whereas the Russians, they want to take over Ukraine. They grab people off the street, just
You're in the
pull them in.
army. But I was
You're
shopping
in
for
the army. We're
dinner.
going to give you a nice uniform.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be
When your
bars and
body parts
stars.
come home, your girlfriend will love you. You'll get a nice funeral
She'll say, "What a beautiful pair of pants." That's all that's left of your husband.
made by women in Vladivostok. I mean, how could you go wrong?
Happy
So it's
women.
interesting to me how the Russians, the Chinese, who have so much supply of human life, have figured out a way to use less of that human life to accomplish their goals if they want it. Whereas the Russians, who are behind us and the Chinese in population, and India, um, seem that their best stock that they have, their number one thing that they have, is human life.
Well, India should use that to their advantage. If the North Koreans are sending armies to Russia to make them happy, India should do the same. India could provide 100,000 people right now off the streets of Bombay, and no one would even know they were gone. No one would miss them. There would be no gap in the population. They
Well,
could
if you
send
got a
them in,
hundred thousand, yeah, if you got a
and they're
hundred
ha- and they're
thousand
ha-
people out of India, that would be the cast of 90 Day Fiance.
and they're happy to be the new friend and ally of Russia when it comes to having meetings and sitting in a hotel and having lunch. But to help Russia right now, you have to send men to be part of the Russian army, and I think India should get to that right away.
Oh, I think they will. I think they realize that, and I think
They haven't paid a price for being an ally yet. The time to pay the price.
well, they did pay it. I would disagree with that. I think they did pay a price. They were a British colony for how long?
But now they're looking for a new ally in the modern world, and they've chosen Russia.
Yeah, they had to watch those clowns in those weird uniforms, with the hip 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 hip. I mean, I'm all for pageantry. Don't get me wrong, but I just, I thought it was,
Don't wear a red coat to a fight.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't. That's what they teach. They teach you that in school. Is don't wear a red coat to a
Well,
fight.
we're going to eliminate the Department of Education so there'll be no more of that nonsense.
Well,
And don't forget that the we're going to rely on Leon Musk to use his ability to shoot down satellites to so that MSNBC can't deliver its product anymore. The Beano CNN. I know his name's Elon, but I'm calling him Leon
right.
because
No, we renamed him Leon on this show now.
he has two personalities. He gets up in the
I
morning,
think
he's
he's got
Elon,
more than that,
everything's
Michael.
fine, and then when it's time to act, he becomes Leon Musk, and that's when his satellites go into work.
I think. You mean? I
If the
mean,
U.S. Army wanted to put up a spy satellite, who would be the only guy that could put that into orbit for us right now? Because our space program is non-existent without privateers.
well, yeah, unless you have Amazon Prime, then Bezos could deliver one into space for you in a day, I guess.
Two
But
day
you have to
delivery.
get it up there by. You have to get it to him by 2 o'clock. You have to order it by 2 o'clock. If you don't order it by 2 o'clock, you're not getting it until the day after. The day after.
That only seems fair.
Um, you notice who you haven't seen around?
Um, Chris Rock, Kid Rock,
Okay,
Monty Rock the third.
you may be the first guy who's ever confused Kid Rock and Chris Rock.
I just can't tell them apart. And I've tried, but I can't tell them apart.
Or The Rock. Um, all of a sudden, Elon Musk or Leon Musk has become the vice president of the United States of America.
Oh, J.D. Vance, we don't need him anymore. You ain't
You
gonna see
don't
him
see
around anymore.
J.D. Vance anywhere. You don't even hear his name mentioned. I mean, I'll swear to you, I have not heard J.D. Vance's name mentioned all week.
What would he
Where
do
I've
if
seen
he? I mean,
Musk.
if
I
he
mean, the
showed up,
only
they
time
tell
I
him to do
haven't seen
something.
Musk is when Trump was in the bathroom, and probably he was there too.
I think so. I think that
I think
ring
that's
is
a fair
true.
assumption. So I don't know. I mean, I I think that Musk is going to be your de facto vice president of the United States because J.D. Vance, he may not even have to show up to the inauguration.
Funny thing about comparing Hitler to Trump is that they put together a staff that was unique, unexperienced, angry, and didn't get along with itself. There were no friends, there were no allies. Everybody was a competitor. And that's what Trump has managed to do with his cabinet. He's created a group of people that don't like each other, don't trust one another, and really cannot trust one another. So they have to be in competition all the time, and it creates a lot of friction within the government
Chaos.
to the point where it can't function.
Yeah. I mean, there's a theory that says that's how you get the best out of your people. We've seen that management style. We've worked under that management
It
style,
doesn't work. It doesn't
and it
work.
doesn't work. It just creates either contempt for the people who are charged with running the place and getting results, or it creates a system where everybody hates each other.
First, you destroy the workings of the state, then you destroy the workings of the society, and then there's nobody who can gather even a small crowd in Washington, D.C. to protest your means of taking the government. There won't be a government anymore. There'll just be a leader, and
Yeah, well, and
none of the
that
wheels
seems
of
to be
power
what
will
they're
be able
going
to.
for.
Right, the wheels of power will stop turning.
Right, that seems to be what they're going for. That they're going to so weaken the other side. They're going to so weaken anybody who disagrees with the other side, with their side, that you could scream and shout all you want. Nobody will even believe you.
No one can stop it because they're going to purge the generals that don't fit right away. They'll be out, and all the other officers will either follow suit or be dismissed.
Yeah, they'll
And
they'll
then
they'll be
and then
gone.
and then when he says I'm your commander in chief, what he means is the army now works for me. They are my arm, just as the Justice Department works for me, just as the Health and Human Services Department works for me. Not for you, not for
It doesn't
America.
work for you, Michael. It works for Donald Trump. That's who everybody works for now.
Correct.
If you have a government job,
You
that
work for the
government job
boys.
that your father told you to go get because you'd have a pension and you'd have, you make sure you have a paycheck every week and all of that stuff.
I'm sorry, but we were wrong
That's
about that.
that's coming to an end. If you
You
want a
think
government job,
you
you're going
think
to have
people
to compete with people.
you think people will even have driver's licenses anymore? Will there be any executive form of identification? I have to see your papers. It's going to be people
There'll
stopping
be
you on the street asking for your
one chip for
papers.
everything.
And who issues it? Because there won't be any.
Bill
There won't be
Gates.
any. I don't think Bill
There'll be
Gates would
one
be
chip for
around.
everything. You'll get a chip like a dog. You know, your dog gets the chip when you go to the vet. You put the chip in the dog.
So you can be scanned.
You won't have to carry anything. You go to the airport. They'll hit you with the gun. You go to the supermarket. You want to pay Amazon Fresh. They'll hit you with the gun. They'll know your credit
And
history.
on
They'll know where you live, what you
and
bought,
on
who
New
you're
Year's Eve,
screwing.
on New Year's Eve, if you walk down Colorado Boulevard on the parade, you'll be walking through screening devices periodically all the way down. So there'll be no surprises about who's out there watching.
Just like Russia. I mean, I don't know if they have the implanted screening devices, but they have, they just take pictures of everything and they run it through facial recognition.
And if it doesn't recognize you, you're in trouble.
And so, yeah, and even if they don't recognize you, they figure out a way to get you in trouble. If they want you, they know where to get you. You were here yesterday. Oh, look at that! You walked by that corner 5 times last week at 5:35 in the afternoon. You
We'll
must
get you
be
tomorrow.
somewhere close.
We'll get you tomorrow, if or the next day.
Yeah, no rush. We want to clean up a room for you first. We want to make sure that your stay with us is comfortable.
Because we have camps. I hope you like Texas.
Yeah, well, that's what they're out looking at right now. I mean, I think that's today what they're out looking at
Because the governor
is
of Texas is going
what
to have to is going to
what
have to going to have to
metropolitan
set.
areas.
Governor of Texas is going to have to figure out how to walk soon because we're not going to tolerate anybody in a wheelchair. He better get
Yeah,
up
he's
and
going to
start
get up out of
walking.
that wheelchair fairly soon, I think.
That would be my advice.
Yeah, because in case you noticed it, the president doesn't like disabled people either.
Nor do Usay and Uday.
Yeah, yeah. Being handicapped is a
Not having it.
disadvantage to our country. We only want the strong white ones.
It slows the rest of us down.
Yep, yep. We don't want if you walk with a cane or you're in a wheelchair or you have to get disability. That's a drain on the federal government's money.
Plus the roundups that are coming. What bothers me is you round them up and you put them in the camp in Texas. Now it's time for them to actually go back to their country. That's the last step, and it's expensive. So we could do without the last step if we just said they don't have to go back anywhere. They can just stay where they are, stay in the camp, just as long as they're not around openly circulating with the rest of the free people.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they'll even take. Maybe what they'll even do is take Puerto Rico.
Because who's
And
gonna pay to send this guy back to Guatemala? He's the only guy we got from Guatemala this week. I'm not sending one plane with one guy in it.
yeah, we can get him. We can get him to Puerto Rico on Spirit Airlines for a quarter of the price.
Not guaranteed, however. Spirit's got some problems with their
Well,
guarantee.
when they say they're going to drop you off somewhere, they drop you off. They're not kidding around. They fly somewhere close to the island, and then the pilot goes, "Well, we're going 600 miles an hour. If we drop out of the plane and go this way, if there's
And
a
what kind of
crosswind,
spirit are
they
we?
go that
What
way."
kind of spirit are we talking about? And as of today, it's a bankrupt spirit. So if you want to fly with the bankrupt guys who can't pay to have their planes repaired, who can't pay their mechanics to fix them, who can't pay for fuel for a full tank.
Well,
That's really up to
remember when
you.
you didn't have any money, Michael, and you had to get somewhere with your car? What did you do? You went to the gas station, you filled it up with as much money as you had, $2, $3, and you just hoped that that was enough money to get you where you were going. Well, that's how Spirit's going to operate. They're going to take the plane, the fuel truck's going to pull up, the pilot's going to reach in his pocket, say, "Give me $3 worth," and they're going to fill up the plane. You're going to take off, and you may make it, you
Where
may
we're
not.
going, we're going to Vegas. Well, I bet we'll make it. That's a good idea. Let's all bet we make it.
You could fly like that for $25 to Las Vegas. You could buy a ticket on a regular airline, take your chances, or you could be Pete Buttigieg, who's decided, you know what, I'm going to get out of here now. I'm leaving. I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm
I'm going
getting
to
my
Bimini.
husband and kids. We're getting in the car and we're going.
Bimini used to be a sparsely populated island, but now it's getting to be rather crowded down there as more and more people use the Bimini exit.
Well, I've been saying this for a long time, Michael. Is that the um, the smart people, the smart people
Have relocated.
who need to cut and run are going to make a deal with the Cubans. There's Cuba's in dire straits right now. There's parts of the country that have no electricity. There's other parts of the country that have electricity for 3 or 4 or 5 hours a day. Um,
So no night baseball, I take it.
well, I think the idea is though here is that people that have some money are going to try to figure out a way to go down to the Cuban government and say, listen, there's a way that we can get you guys out of your dire straits. Doesn't have to be a revolution, doesn't have to be a war. Nobody has to get hurt. We'll we'll come down and we'll fix things up. And that'll wind up being the new place for people to run to. It's 90 miles away.
Trouble is, you have to
It's
get there by boat. If you use Baja California, rich people can buy the land there and pay the cartels to protect them from the American government.
Yeah, but see, they don't trust the cartels.
But the
The
cartels have to
Cubans
provide protection.
Cubans have a weird thing that there's a love for America there. Even though America has screwed them consistently since 1959, they still, when they see Americans get off the plane, they love them. They talk to them. They sit down at the table when you go to the paladars, the restaurants that are there,
Play
that are allowed to
dominoes.
operate. And they're trying to figure out a solution. So, one thing I would say is that if the Trump administration were smart, or if enough people were smart, they would push to get relations kind of somewhat normalized again with the Cuban government because down there money will talk.
Yeah, but Trump and normal don't go together very well. When Trump tries to
I got to give
normalize
you that,
something,
man.
it's just
I
not
got
going
to
to
give
work.
you that. I can't.
And even
How do I?
if it works on Monday, they'll fuck it up so it doesn't work on Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that that's something that we ought to start be looking at because I'm just seeing all of these and reading all of these reports coming out of Cuba that they need some help in the
You know who
worst
doesn't
way.
want you know who doesn't want us or help or any element of our society to come north?
Who's that?
Our good friends, the Canadians.
They want
They're
no part of us.
they're nice and they don't like us because we're not nice. We can't. We've
They
forgotten how to be
want.
nice.
They don't want. They have a life, and while we laugh at it, they love it. They are America of the 1950s.
There's a
They still say
interview
please
I
and
saw
thank
with
you to people.
Rush, and they said the funny thing was there was three of us, but we always got along because we're Canadians. We have to be nice. And the funny thing about Canadians is they realize that about themselves. We're Canadian. You
Yeah,
have to act like a Canadian. We have
yeah.
no shame in to prevent us from acting like Americans. Unfortunately,
I was I think I had told you this story a year or so ago. I was up in White Rock, which is just north of the Canadian border here. And it's
is
like
it
a
near
little
Banff?
resort type town. It's south of BC between the border, and it's got a little beach and a train runs through it. And it's just one of these places that you can go for an evening dinner or stroll on the pier. No amusement park, no Ferris wheel, just a nice little slot of stores and restaurants and bars, and close enough that you can drive up there from here or from BC.
Get Canadian bacon. They think they have any Canadian
They
bacon
have
there.
Canadian bacon. And I was up there. It was the summertime. I remember this. And I wanted to go sit by the pier because the way it's constructed is you have the pier, the trains, the tracks go on street level between the pier and the main street in White Rock, the colonnade, that you can walk along. So I got my cane and I parked the car for free in a parking lot, and I start to walk toward the crosswalk. And as soon as I get to the crosswalk, I don't even get a chance to put my cane down. Cars on both sides stop to let me go across because they see I got the cane. The one guy going facing south rolls down his window and says, "Don't worry, we're going to sit here until you get across."
Just to
So
reassure you.
not only are they stopping, but they're reassuring me
It's okay.
that they're not pissed off that we made them stop. That nobody going around, nobody honking their horn, nobody. They're just acting civil,
Don't they have
acting
anybody
nice
saying
to
get
people.
nobody said get the hell out of the road?
When I got to the restaurant I was going to, again I have the cane. Um, Nobody tried to cut me off. Nobody tried. As a matter of fact, the person in front of me opened the door and held it for me while I walked into the restaurant, and then closed the doors and closed the door, and then said to me because there was like three steps going up into the restaurant. Can I help you get up the stairs?
Now, who trains these Canadians to be polite? Do you think do they have a training area somewhere in Saskatchewan? Everyone has to go.
There must be Hudson's Bay or somewhere. There's got to be a place where they train these people to have manners, to have respect for older people. Um, and I encountered those random acts of kindness were not random in Canada. They
Well, here's
were
the thing.
seemed to be. Now I'm not saying that they don't have. They seem to be like normal. I'm not saying they don't have their problems up there, and I'm not saying that everybody lives with each other in complete harmony, or it's like Woodstock or something like that. But there was a certain respect that they had
A noticeable social difference.
for each other that was different from what you see here, and that's really what it came down to. So you got to show me how a guy who disrespects every kind of person is different from him, who disrespects women, who disrespects disabled people, who disrespects every kind of person and voted for him, is going
Suckers.
to make the country great again. Because the greatness of a country is not how forceful you are. The greatness of a country is your compassion, is how you treat people. at least in my opinion. How is this guy going to get us there? That's what I want to see.
In fact, what he's trying to do is destroy the road to that. He's trying to destroy the highway to compassion, the highway to caring about anything, and to give up control of the direction of the country to one man to do what he wants, even though where he's taking us is to a terrible, dark, odious place.
Yeah, and there's virtually
And
nothing we can
and,
do
Amer-
about
and,
it.
and America can't wait to get there. We can't wait to
Yeah,
get to Armageddon.
I mean, you can't show me a plan, and I've read, I read everybody's New York Times columns in this column and that column and that. Nobody's come up with a plan that says everybody is this is the new America.
Get used to it.
This is what this is what we are. This is who we are.
Adapt or die.
We voted for this guy.
In fact, adapt and die. Even if you adapt, you have to die.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to see a kinder, gentler America in my time left. The
You
only
might have trouble
kinder,
getting you might have trouble getting ESPN as soon as Elon Musk turns off all the satellites.
yeah, the yeah, you're just not going to get. It's going away. It's not cool anymore. It's going to be cool to be macho again. It's going to be cool to be, to go home and tell your wife to stay home. You're the working guy. And that'll make us all feel better about ourselves. And I'll tell you what, if you want to see a scary interview, dig up Pamela Brown's interview with the Oklahoma Commissioner of Education this morning.
This is the guy who wants the Ten Commandments to be tattooed on every child.
He wants more than that. He's already started his movement by insisting that all the children in the Oklahoma school system, public school system,
Have
have
a
a
Bible.
Bible. Now, the next question,
Where do you get the
and
Bible?
I'll, and I'll tell you what you've won. They've ordered already 150,000 Bibles.
Are these Trump
Can
Bibles?
you
Those are
guess what
they
kind
are
of
Trump
Bibles they
Bibles.
ordered?
Trumpification Bibles,
There you go.
which honors the birthday of Saint Trump, one of the lesser saints until now.
There you go. It's got the Constitution in it. It's got the Declaration of Independence in it.
No, we're not going to need those. You can tear those pages out, can you?
It's got a page of friends I met at the Blunt rally in Madison Square Garden.
You should have gone to the
Got
Bund rally in
everything.
Milwaukee because they had beer, and mixing the Bund guys with beer turned out to be a great idea.
It's how to run your own beer putsch. It's got everything. It's
You know,
all
pitch
there.
makes people thirsty. What are they going to do? Drink water? I don't think so.
Now you're buying beer.
Old Milwaukee.
That's how you get that. Well, no, now they're going to call it New Milwaukee because this is a new age.
I was
See, the
born in
problem is
Dusseldorf.
we thought it
Other
was going
times
to
they
get
call me
done with
Rolls.
Chris.
No.
We thought that you could hang up a crystal in the living room and another one in the behind the mirror of your car. That was going to
That would con-
enlighten everybody on the freeway.
c- control the vibrations.
It was going to make your vibe better. Trump thinks that the only thing, and his minions, I'm not just going to say him, Trump and Stephen Miller and Bannon and all those guys, they think the only way to get good vibes is with an electric device.
Well, also, if you take a club to the side of the head, you don't care what vibes are coming because you're not receiving those vibes anymore. It's a vibe
Yeah.
stoppage. Vibe stoppage.
So that's what you're facing. That was the conclusion I came to after watching and looking and seeing all. I dove back into the media a little bit this weekend,
The unquestioning
and I got to
loyalty
be
to
honest with
Trump
you,
is
I
going
didn't
to
like what I saw.
the unquestioning loyalty to Trump will produce two of everything: two types of senators, Trump senators and regular senators, Trump lawyers, regular lawyers, and Trump lawyers who enforce a separate set of laws and a separate set of rules and go to a separate school to get their degree. There'll be Trump approved everything. Robert F. Kennedy says he wants everyone to eat a healthy diet. Well, there'll be two types of tomatoes: tomatoes grown by Trump people and wild tomatoes. Anything could happen if you eat them.
Tomatoes and tomatoes,
You say tomato, but I say tomato.
potatoes, 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 potatoes.
This will be the
Let's
last
call the whole
Thanksgiving you
thing
can buy
Trump.
the last Thanksgiving you can buy the ingredients for Italian stuffing to go with your turkey.
Hey,
Those items will no longer
I'm
be available.
I'm going into Italian stuffing mode right now. I'm already starting today. When I get done here, I got to head down to De Laurentiis, which is that nice little Italian deli. I don't know if you remember it in the Pike Place Market.
Yes, yes, I do remember it.
And I'm going to go down there and I'm going to get me some nice Italian sausage and Italian roasted chestnuts and some good Italian bread, a couple of days old.
Next year, there won't be any of that available. It'll all be McDonald's stuffing. You can buy it right
Yeah.
at the drive-in window. At the drive-in window, they have it for you.
Well, I actually toyed with the idea. You can buy a complete Cajun turkey dinner
At
at
Popeyes,
what's the chicken place? Popeye. Is it Popeyes?
Popeyes. Yes,
Yeah,
Popeye,
Popeyes.
Louisiana chicken.
Louisiana chicken, and it's actually pretty good. Except it's turkey, but they do every year. You can order a number of turkeys, and I'm not going to do it this year because I really have the urge to cook and to make a turkey and to do all of that. But next year, maybe I won't have the urge so much.
It depends what Trump wants next year. Thanksgiving's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, how do you think Thanksgiving's going to be at the Biden house?
Well, instead of giving thanks to anything that you might happen to be thankful for that year, you have to give thanks to the leader, or he'll turn off your satellite service. You won't even be able to get Fox if you don't pledge your thanks to the Fuhrer.
It's going to be a very different world starting January 20th.
How can he possibly live 4 years?
Very simply, he just keeps up that regiment of diet that he's on.
Well, I'm waiting for the Marines to march in and take him into custody.
I thought that I thought that Kennedy was a sign that he was going to straighten out, that he was going to change his eating a little bit and try to be more fit. I thought that that was the idea behind the whole Kennedy thing.
You want Trump to change? I'm sorry. You're misunderstanding the idea here.
Well, yeah, if the bullet to the side of his head didn't change him, that's the point where you go, nothing changes this guy, right? I mean, wasn't the whole thing after he got shot that he's gonna he's gonna change? He's a changed man.
He had a realization that he wasn't going to change anything.
He had an epiphany. He had someday the Lord Jesus came down to him.
He should have had an Oldsmobile, but he bought an Epiphany instead. And those cars are never going to, they
Well,
never
it's
make it.
hard. It's hard not to buy that Epiphany '88. It's a hell of a car.
It's a great, it's a great silhouette on the highway.
Great silhouette. It's got the eye camera sits right up on the dashboard there. So if somebody is coming at you with brights, you can just turn all of your lights on and blind them. So it's a wonderful car.
I saw a movie, A Narrow Wolf Mystery from the 1950s. They had a lot of old cars in the scene because they wanted to make it look real. and the FBI guys that were tailing him were driving an Oldsmobile. You knew it was an Oldsmobile because it had the three stripes on the hood, three chrome stripes right past the logo.
Yeah, you can't get past that.
You knew what it was coming down this road. Oh, FBI's driving an Oldsmobile. Well, how about that? I
You
wonder if
knew
they
who
have a
was
whole fleet of
chasing you.
them.
Nowadays, you don't know if a Ford's chasing you, or a Chevy, or a Tesla.
No, you know if it's a Tesla. The battery's smoking.
Well, the highway patrol in New York uses them,
Teslas?
uses Teslas, and I guess they're reporting now. It wouldn't shock me if Leon went to every highway patrol officer and personally gave him a Tesla to take home. I don't think they're above that kind of corruption. Um, but why not? Right?
And they had to take it back to headquarters to charge it.
No, I think they have charging stations like right there out on the road.
So you think he's just parked on the side of the road to give you the idea to slow down, but he's charging.
He's charging. Now so all he has to do is get on his radio and tell the other guy who's not charging at the moment, "Hey, grab that BMW going up the Belt Parkway there by 65th."
And keep
Oh,
your
I
eyes
just
open
pulled
for,
him over. He says he wasn't speeding. He says he's
look,
driving a
look,
BMW, right? Yeah, he's speeding.
give him a 53 Oldsmobile. It's coming right there. There you go. Three stripes, three chrome stripes on the hood. You can't miss him.
But that's the kind of stuff you're going to deal with. You don't have any right anymore to tell us that we didn't see it. We know what we saw. We're the cops. We shot your kid. Well, your kid is black, right? Yeah. Well, we shot him.
But are you the real police or are you Trump police?
He looked like the guy that did the robbery.
So we shot him in the leg because he was demonstrating.
Yeah. Yeah. The leaders of the free world.
We're leaders because we tell you that we're leaders. It's free because we said it was free, and that's all you need to know.
It's like General Motors. We tell you we make the best car, and we don't care if your transmission falls out. We make the best car.
It's not of a concern to us. If the transmission fell out, that's really your concern, don't you think?
Well, you bought it, didn't you?
It's your car. If the transmission can't stay in your car, how do you expect us to be responsible?
I mean, we bolted it in. It was in when it left here.
We put it in. That's all I can tell you. I don't know what you did to it.
Take it up with the Supreme Court.
Take it up with Mr. Oldsmobile. Where is Mr. Olds? He's in the back somewhere, okay? That's all I remember. I didn't see him come in this morning, but he's always in the back.
Oh my God,
What
Michael.
was Old's first name? Gunther?
Random.
Random Olds?
REO. Random Olds. Random Edward, I think it was.
Well, he had a good idea. It's too bad it didn't last long enough.
Well, yeah, but his idea did last a long time. I mean, you know, and really, when you think about it, his idea was a great idea because if you remember about cars, Olds, Random Olds, was the guy who invented the Rio. That was his car company. That was his first company. Was Rio, which is a brand. It was a branded truck. I don't know if they make Rio anymore, but
REO.
combined with a car company for many years, made a truck that was known for its durability and reliability, the REO Speedwagon,
And there it
which
is, coming down the middle of the road with Kevin Crimmins driving.
no, it's not Kevin Kremen. It's Kevin. Oh, what the heck is his name?
Schuftela. Kevin Schuftela, come forward.
It's funny you say that. I just texted Kevin Kremen like 2 seconds before the show.
So
A sub.
is he willing to give up his spot on REO Speedwagon? Is he sick of the road?
Yes, he's certainly willing. Oh, I guess who I talked to on Friday for a couple of minutes.
Biff Jiggerman?
No, I want you to go Mikey and Vinnie blast from the past.
Steve Scheffler.
Close in the neighborhood, but no, not Steve Scheffler.
Well, tell me, please.
Chad Eaton.
Whoa, Dr. Chad Eaton.
Dr. Chad Eaton. I'm going to try to get him on for us sometime this week, maybe next Friday.
How's he keeping? What's he doing?
He's living in San Antonio. And he sounds like he's doing okay.
Is he involved with football in any way?
No, it's just I don't think so. It doesn't look like he is. He is. I think he spends a lot more time in the gym. He looks, he's buffed. He's worked out. I mean, he's Chad. But he
can consider the hours that man has spent in the gym. I can imagine.
He spent more time in the gym than most people have spent alive.
That's true.
That's the truth, but it was so good to make contact with him, and so good to just to talk to him for a couple of minutes, to exchange words. I just happened to I was looking at somebody's posts on Facebook, and I saw his name, and I said, "Holy shnikes!" And boom, hit the button, and there he was. He got back to me in like 2 seconds.
Excellent. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that he's well.
Yeah, he sounds like he's doing good. We'll talk to him later in the week, and get his thoughts on the world, which may be dangerous.
Well, coming from San Antonio, it could be any sort of a gunslinger
it could
point
be
of view.
Anything going on. I mean, it was when he was out in Pullman, so there's no reason to believe that out in San Antonio he's
not. Of course, now he's in a town where shooting first and asking questions later seems to be the way they go about business.
Well, they had that big Riverwalk thing to dump him in.
Same thing in Pullman, though, for that matter.
Yeah, well,
Spokane
yeah, they got that river that goes by the breakfast place. I'm trying to think of the name of that place that's right on the.
Do they have designated dumping sites? Can you just drive
out
and dump?
Yeah, they got a couple. Well, behind the Holiday Inn too is.
That's a good
pretty
place.
Famous.
They've seen it all there, so they don't get upset when you come up with a couple bodies and dump in the river.
Right, you dump behind a hotel. You go in, Allison Levin Cellar serves you breakfast.
Because it's better this way, really, when it's organized and accepted, when it's customary.
It's a pretty damn good deal.
A damn great deal.
All right, let's see. We got a message from somebody here. I'm losing my faith in God. This is too much for me. I would like to talk to someone. Well, I would.
Have you tried the devil?
I would probably call, a hotline of some kind. I'm sure that
I would recommend going on Facebook and watching the videos of Christian Hitchens, one of the most well-spoken atheists of our time, and that will help you through your loss of faith in God because it's been misplaced all these years. So get a life and get a point of view that has nothing to do with an invisible deity.
Yeah, or look up Ron Reagan Jr. He's somebody who has survived.
He wants your money. However, he wants you to join. He wants you to join a club. Don't join any more clubs.
Yeah, don't join anything until you if it's hunting and fishing even, don't join it until you know how much the dues are.
And plus, you have to hunt and fish in a certain way. You'd be surprised. Just hunting and fishing won't do. You'll have to develop a style that's in agreement and it's compatible with all the other hunters and fishers in your club.
Yeah.
If you're having trouble with your religion, you're not going to like that club any better.
As somebody, Michael, who lived through many, many years of fishing, and spent many many hours in a boat on a lake or on a river somewhere with my pole in the water and a bologna and American cheese sandwich sitting there that I was, should I eat it now or should I wait till later? And just,
The
trying
fish
to
don't
catch
bite with
a
bologna
fish.
in the rule is fish don't bite with bologna in the boat. You know that, Vinny.
I didn't know that. I may know it now. Anyway, and several days where I would come back and there would be nothing. You just went out there and my father or my uncle Bill, who used to take me fishing, or other people that I'd gone fishing with, Uncle Bill's son Corky. All of these people would always teach me while sitting in the boat that you have to have patience. And if you have patience and you say a little prayer, although that didn't work too good for Fredo Corleone, um, that you will eventually catch a fish. And I eventually caught a fish and felt better about fishing. I'd never been a big fisherman when I was older, but every once in a while I like to go. So now I'm watching these outdoor videos on YouTube, and it seems that everybody on YouTube, the ultimate goal of their trip is to find some secluded place that nobody else knows about
It doesn't
and
exist.
pull over and get their fishing pole and dip it in the water so that they
Well,
too can experience the
it's
pure.
just like that's like your friend who just said they lost their religion. You can't find a place that doesn't exist, but you've been told that you can find a place that doesn't exist, and that's just like
Right.
the God that doesn't exist that you've been told is there.
Yet they set up the camera so they can take the picture of them throwing the pole in the water. For some reason, the sound of the fly or whatever it is hitting the water is something that you have to have in every YouTube video, and it's
It scares the
pushed up to
fish.
max volume.
The fish hate that. It scares the hell out of them.
Yeah, just like when for some reason when these outdoor life people, these excuse me, van life people pour coffee. It has the sound of the pouring coffee must drive them into some ecstatic kind of orgasm because when you pour the coffee, they seem to amplify that sound up.
If that were true, think what it would be like being a barista. Whew,
Oh, you'd be in a constant state of
arousal.
Siddhartha Krishna. Anyway, so they put the camera in, they take pictures of themselves, they film themselves doing this, putting the string in the water, sitting there, right? They catch this beautiful looking fish,
Do they let it go?
a fish that I have seen and I would die to catch.
A guy in
You
San
know,
Diego
the
caught a tuna
greatest
yesterday.
looking fish looks like you'd feed five on that fish.
A guy in
You
San
go to
Diego
any
caught a
Chinese
tuna.
restaurant, some happy family would be sitting there picking the bones out of that thing.
A guy in San Diego caught a tuna this weekend, 425 pounds. Believe me, you could hear that when it hit the water.
Yeah. So you figure that this is a great thing, right? But what do? They take the hook out of the mouth and they throw the freaking fish back in the water.
Well, they have to keep using it. That's the only fish they got. I think the
Is
fish
that
would wise
really
up
it,
after a while.
Mike?
Yeah.
Because I don't get the throwing. I mean, we're humans. We're the high form of life, right?
Oh, hold on. What did you
Um,
say?
you know, fish, cows,
If we're the highest form of life,
pigs.
how come we can't pick up wolverines? Why aren't we smarter than wolverines? Go on, pick one up. Just pick it up.
Well, no, they're not smart enough. They're more violent than we are in some instances.
They just don't want to be picked up.
So why do we now live in an age where you are frowned upon if you keep the fish you caught?
King cobras usually keep what they bite. They swallow it whole. Never throw it back.
Well, yeah. Why? I mean, why do you now have to feel guilty about why do you have to feel guilty about doing what should come natural, feeding
Well,
yourself?
Vinny, the Roman Catholics came up with the idea of original sin. So that's where it came from. You were guilty when you started. When you caught the fish, it just got worse. When you sent it back, it helped a little, but not enough. You're still guilty. So there's no way out. No way out on the boat.
I don't get it, Michael. I
You're not
don't
supposed
get
to
it.
get. You're not supposed to get it. You're supposed to submit to it, accept
See,
it as
that's my
your.
problem. Then is if I don't get it, I don't do it. It's why I never worked out in the army or the navy. I would have never worked out in that because somebody would have told me to dig a ditch, and and I would be saying, "Why the hell are we digging a ditch out here?"
And they would say that's an order, son. And you say, well, maybe it's an order for
And
you,
I'd say, "I don't
but
take orders."
you think that it's an order for me because it's an order for you, but it ain't.
I was taught to question authority.
And that would be you, sir.
It was on a bumper sticker when I was growing up. Remember those? Half the cars in Berkeley had question authority on the back of the car,
And you know what authority doesn't like? Answering questions.
answering questions.
What are you guys doing here with those sticks? We're not talking
So our
about that.
famous friend our famous singer friend at the record company. You do it, or you do it.
At least you give three choices from the record company. In the army,
Yeah,
you don't get three choices.
yeah. You do it, or you get shot. And I've never been one for getting shot.
We'll put you in the brig.
I'm not
You
big
guys,
on that either.
you guys got a brig? Yeah, we have to have a brig because some people don't like taking orders. That's where we put them.
I don't like that either. But I'll go to the brig if you insist and you bring guys that are bigger than me. I can do that, but getting shot is a whole different thing. I don't want to do that.
Vinny, I got to go
Um,
babysit today, so I'm gonna say adios, and we'll return on a
okay,
wacky Wednesday, and God knows
you
how
go
wacky it'll
babysitting, and
be.
we'll catch up with each other on Wednesday. And I don't know when this Wednesday or maybe Friday or one of these days here we'll have Chad on with us. It'll be just like old times.
Let's make it a Freaky
Before you
Friday
go,
with Chad. Yeah,
yeah, before you go, Al Ferrara passed away. And to many people, they don't know the name Al Ferrara, but if you hung out enough baseball teams, you've heard the story of Al Ferrara. And while I know you got to go, so I won't tell it today, but tune in Wednesday because I'll tell the story of Al Ferrara and why he was such a cool baseball player. The Bull, they called him. He was from Brooklyn, played for the Dodgers, played for the Padres, played for the Reds.
I saw his baseball card on Facebook this weekend.
Yeah, that's probably why. That's probably
That's
why.
right.
But Al Ferrara is was a legend, so much so that in the Mariners broadcasting booth, we had his his famous quote up on the whiteboard on top of it. All business that was conducted in that booth happened under the famous quote of Al Ferrara.
Which is
Well, I can't tell you that without telling you the whole story. So why don't we
okay.
save it for Wednesday?
Well, I hate talking about Dodgers, but he's the Brooklyn Dodgers, so we'll honor him with a
I think it
speech
was an
on
LA
Wednesday.
Dodger, actually. An early LA Dodger, Al Ferrara. He was from Brooklyn. He grew up in Brooklyn. An Italian boy from Brooklyn, so we got to hear what his story is.
Got to hear it because it's a story that's worth hearing.
It's definitely a story worth hearing. As a matter of fact, I opened up my Facebook this morning, and Marty Appel, who was the longtime PR guy for the Yankees, had the story on his Facebook page.
Excellent. I look forward to
So
Wednesday,
if you
Vinny.
need to see it, go ahead and look for it there.
Or as they say, go ahead.
Go ahead and look for it there. All right, Mikey. I will see you on Wednesday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise. And until
It shall
then,
be done.
peace, love, Manischewitz, baby.
El Ferraro drank it. Must have been quite a wine. See you,
It
man.
was quite a wine. Take care. Thank you all for listening too. You have a good one, and we'll catch up with you on Friday, right here on the Mikey and Vinnie Take on the World Broadcasting Network. Bye-bye.